Vayeira elav Hashem be'elonei mamrei v'hu yoshe petach ha'oel kachom hayom. Hashem appeared to Abraham in the plains of Mamre, and he was sitting at the entrance of the tent in the heat of the day. The Torah doesn't say why Hashem came to visit Abraham. He didn't give him any type of a prophecy. What was he doing? And our sages tell us that Hashem came levaker et hachole, to visit a sick person. Because at the end of last week's parasha, we learned that Abraham had his brit milah, he had his circumcision, which he performed on himself at the age of 99. And it was the third day after the circumcision, and he was in pain. And Hashem came to visit him, levaker et hachole, to visit the sick. We're told later on in the Torah, v'halachta bidrachav, we shall walk in the ways of Hashem, we shall emulate Hashem. Just as he visits the sick, so too we must visit the sick. Therefore, we have an important principle, aspect of chesed, the mitzvah of kindness, is bikur cholim, to visit the sick. Several decades ago, somebody asked the famous Rav Moshe Feinstein, can you fulfill the mitzvah of bikur cholim, of visiting the sick, by phoning the sick person? You phone them up on the telephone, today the cell phone, and you ask them how they're doing. And maybe today we could ask a continuation of the question, could you send them a WhatsApp, an SMS, a voice note? Would that be a way of fulfilling the mitzvah of bikur cholim? Now, there are three components to bikur cholim. One component is you have to pray for the person. You have to pray that they should get better. In fact, it says in the Shulchan Aruch that if you go and visit a sick person, you don't pray for them, you haven't really fulfilled your obligation. So you have to pray for them. Another thing is l'chazek. You have to give them encouragement, motivate them, lift their spirits. And thirdly, l'shamesh them. You have to serve them. Do they have enough food? Do they have enough drink? Are they getting the right type of medical care? Those are the different aspects of bikur cholim. Now, certainly the last aspect cannot be done on the telephone because you're not there to serve them. Well, maybe the person is in the hospital, maybe the person has attendants that's looking after them, so that's not really important. But it would seem that the first two you could actually do on the telephone. You could pray for them over the phone, or once you've spoken to them, you could pray to Hashem. And certainly you can encourage them, you can lift up their spirits. And Rav Moshe says, yes, there may be a partial fulfillment of the mitzvah of bikur cholim, but not completely. And why is that so? Because you're not in their presence. You're not looking at them. And when you look at a person, a sick person, and you see them, it has an impact upon you. Maybe they don't look good at all. And this has an impact upon you. I better pray hard for them. Whereas if you're just speaking to them over the phone, you can't really pick it up just from their voice. You have to be there. And this is something that's so important in our generation. We relate to one another very often just on the phone, perhaps on Zoom. We make a voice call, we make a video call. We don't see the person's situation. We're not fully aware of what's going on with them. This is only a picture that one can get when you're in the presence of another person. That's why it's so important, even though we live in the world of technology, to come together, to be together as a community, to look at another person and to see how they're doing. Because that has more of an impact upon us. I mean, you can see that somebody's situation is difficult. It'll motivate us to try to help them as much as possible. So yes, by all means, phone somebody, see how they're doing, but make every effort to go and visit them, to pray for them, and to do what you can to lift their spirits. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.